I never forget the sound of her laughter turning into a deep, guttural growl. It was the middle of the prince's engagement party, and everyone was dancing under the flickering lanterns in the palace courtyard. That's when the screaming started. A young woman collapsed in the middle of the crowd, clutching her head, and when she stood up, she wasn't young anymore. Let me explain how we got there. I work in the palace as one of the stewards. My job is simple: make sure guests are taken care of and keep an eye out for anything unusual. When the prince first introduced his fiancée, Amina, I thought she was beautiful, too beautiful. Her skin glowed like moonlight, and her eyes had this strange way of holding you, like they were pulling you into a dream. But something about her didn't sit right with me. Amina showed up in the prince's life out of nowhere. He had been looking for a bride for months, but no one had caught his eye. Then, one day, he came back from a hunting trip and announced he was in love. People whispered about how fast it happened, but no one dared question the prince. At first, Amina seemed perfect. She was kind, charming, and knew all the palace customs as if she'd been born into royalty. But there were small things that only someone like me, someone who watches everything, would notice. She always avoided the mirrors in the hallways. When she thought no one was looking, her hands trembled, like she was struggling to hold something back. The night of the engagement party, I decided to keep a closer eye on her. I stayed near the back of the courtyard, pretending to refill drinks while watching her every move. That's when I noticed her staring at the prince. It wasn't the look of love, it was hunger. Then, the drummers played a wild, pulsing rhythm, and Amina began to dance. The guests clapped and cheered as she spun and twirled, her laughter ringing out like bells. But something was wrong. Her movements became too fast, too frantic, like she was fighting to keep herself together. Suddenly, she stopped. Her body jerked like a puppet on strings, and she let out a scream that didn't sound human. People backed away as she fell to the ground, writhing and clawing at her face. When she stood up, the beautiful Amina was gone. Her face was lined with deep wrinkles, her hair thin and gray. Her eyes, though, they were the same. Cold, burning with rage. People gasped and whispered, "Is that Bibi Nuru?" I froze. Bibi Nuru was a well-known witch who lived on the edge of the kingdom. She was old, powerful, and infamous for her obsession with the prince. She had once tried to cast a love spell on him, but the palace priestess caught her and banished her from the royal grounds. Now, here she was, standing in the middle of the party, her secret exposed. "Prince Jabari," she hissed, her voice cracking. "You were supposed to be mine." The prince, stunned and pale, stepped back. Guards moved in, but Bibi Nuru raised her hands, muttering something under her breath. A gust of wind swept through the courtyard, knocking everyone down. I swear, I saw her face shift again, back to the young Amina, then back to the old witch, like two people fighting for control of the same body. The priestess arrived just in time. She threw something, powder, maybe salt, into the air, and Bibi Nuru let out a piercing scream before collapsing. When the guards reached her, she was gone, leaving only a pile of tattered clothes. The party ended in chaos. People whispered for days about the witch who tried to steal the prince's heart. As for me, I still can't forget that moment. The way her beauty shattered, revealing something ancient and terrifying underneath. It's a reminder that some love isn't love at all, it's obsession, and it can rot the soul. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button for more.